My humble pronouns of divine Lotus feet. Sairam, brothers and sisters, it's an incredible honor for me to be here this morning and to speak in front of so many amazing people. The two speakers, the other two guest speakers, Leonardo Guter and Phil Gaston, and when I heard that I was actually speaking in the same conference with them, it was so humbling because I really look up to them. I've been looking up to you both for so many years to guide me at so many levels. And I think one of the key things for all of us to understand is that it's not just one or the other; it's all of us together. We learn from each other, and I think I always like to start it that way. Of course, we have dear Swami, who is always guiding us. We have these incredible mentors. At some level, we have to kind of come back to ourselves and have that extreme confidence that we are, who we are, and we can be what we can be, and just take examples from everyone, in front of us. So with that, what I thought I would do today is really kind of take you through a journey, my own journey, because we can listen to a lot of people, like yesterday, there's so many comments about listening to bhajans or listening to each other. But at time to time, you have to kind of reflect and say, how have I moved forward, in my own spiritual path? I think that is so important for each of us as an individual, as a Sai family. We're so blessed to have each other as a Sai community and the community at large. When we live in a community, that's our family, not just our own biological family or Sai family. We need to think much, much broader than we think about family at all times, not at the time of need, but at all times. Because we do think of the community at large when there's a need, whether it's a natural disaster or something happening locally, a food need. We do think of that, but how do we think about them on a day-to-day basis and live our lives from that perspective? And I think that is such an important thing. I'll talk about my own journey. Several years ago, I was speaking at a center, and someone asked me, what is the biggest miracle that you had? And here I went on and on about this incredible miracle that actually happened to me in Turkey. And after the talk, I realized it was really awesome, but what I should have really told them was the biggest miracle is our own self-transformation. That is the miracle, not the big other things we see. Of course, they're very nice, very intriguing, they're very stimulating, inspiring, makes us better people. But how has that changed? How have I transformed myself? That is the biggest miracle for each of us. So the conference is about reuniting, so at a physical level after the COVID, but how do we also come as a family as well? Inspiring. I think each of us has something to offer others, and I think we need to have that self-confidence in ourselves. I always say we learn from each other. It doesn't matter what age we are. I learn a lot from our SXC children. They have a lot to teach us. Children have a lot to teach us. Yesterday, when we saw the school children, they taught us a lot of things. And I think sometimes we have to get back into the children mode. The future us, they're really speaking from the heart. And tell that yesterday. And we need to be that. Not think that we're actually involuted, but actually, moving forward spiritually when we look at the children's heart and the children's mind. A service, of course, like I said, part of the integral part, service at home, service in the family. I asked Swami once in an interview, I said, how do you balance service? I always kind of struggle, not necessarily struggle, I always go out to serve the community. That's my passion. I watch my father. And what does that mean, though? Of course, you're helping someone, but you also left something behind. So that's the family behind. In my case, my wife to take care of the family, young children. And I need to think about that as well. And I never lose it. I just need to kind of go follow my heart, follow my passion. And of course, we were doing stuff. So I asked Swami, how do you balance service, society and service at home? And Swami said, good question. He said, it is important, when you make a vow, you're married, with your family, that comes first. But he said at some point you do have to cross the line and you have to serve in society. Initially, he said you have to do some discrimination in that interview. And I said, okay, that kind of sounds nice, but it wasn't very satisfactory answer to me. Later on, I was sitting and hearing one of his talks, and I never heard him speak that before or after. That's when he said, at some level, you have to cross that line and serve the society for each one of us in whatever capability that we have. So that is very, very important. But at that time, it really, made sense to me, and it was very satisfying answer. It was something that I was looking for. And finally, enlightenment, I hope, all this, that what we do in our lives, we do enlighten ourselves and really come to the recognition of what Swami is actually asking us to do. So I always think about, we talk about these things, we want these things, but how do you make that consistent in our day-to-day life? How do you stay connected to Swami and his teaching every second of every day of our lives? So I always think, to me, it's very important to follow the heart. Even as a young teenager, I used to, there were times I just ran away from home, not running away from my family. I just ran away because there's something which attracted me and service, and I just used to follow them. There were times I never told my parents either. And of course, they were stressing out at home. But they recognize that following the heart is very important. I have something amazing. We have amazing parents who are very open-minded and really let me do what I wanted to. At some level, faith comes in. You gotta have faith when you set out your goals. Think about the outcomes, because I always find when we give, when we have a faith, a lot comes back. Which we don't even recognize. And to me, what you give, you get much, much, much more. It may not be the same. We might give money. Of course, we're not going to get money. Think about money either. But so many things come back to us, which is so beautiful. And surrendering to God. And more recently, I've been thinking about, Swami, I read a lot about surrender. And Swami talks about what surrender means. The first thing is seeing the dignity in the others. For us, it doesn't come naturally. I think for me, I'm training myself to do that. If I see someone, immediately I see God. If I see another person, I see that person, but I don't necessarily experience the mind right away. It takes some time. And in some people, I never see that. But how do we kind of change that? I've been kind of training myself personally. The minute I see anyone first, I want to say, there's divine in you. I start my conversation, I look at that individual, doesn't matter who that is, saying that this is God. And then everything has become very easy in my life. The Swami says the true meaning of surrender is a recognition of the fact that in everyone and everywhere God is present. And I think I really want to personally keep that in my mind at all levels. When you think about surrender, this is probably not what we think of all the time. When we think about surrender, we think of giving up things and all that. Swami said, giving up things, are they really yours? Who gave them to you? I gave them to you. So what's the point of surrendering something that I gave? So I think surrendering, this is probably what's most important in our life. But at least at a time when I was thinking of surrender at a physical level, I was speaking to one of the Sai aunties at a wedding reception. I'm not sure why I said this to her. This was quite some time ago. I think I was still a young adult, young. I said, Auntie, I've reached a point in my life I'm very I reached a point in my life that I'm ready to give up my life to Swami. I really meant it. It really came from my heart. What made me say that? I'm not sure that day. And that night, I have a dream. And in that dream, I'm in full call because I'm sitting on the veranda. I'm the only guy sitting on the veranda. There's nobody there. And thousands and thousands of people in the Monday. Bhajans start because like everyone is singing bhajans. And Swami kind of gently walks through the bhajans. He comes straight to me. He puts his hand on me and he starts waving his hand. And vibhuti just starts pouring, pouring, pouring. I'm completely drenched in vibhuti till here. And he just leaves after that. So that was the end of the dream. And I was thinking when I woke up, how do we stay at that level? How do we try to stay at that level every single moment of our lives? To me, that is our goal for spiritual for me. Now, what is successful of this the world around us can be very misleading, and tricks us, all this Maya on we get involved, attracted to all these things, and we can stray away from that real feeling. If you ask goal, what is our goal? That's probably our goal. Are we actually doing there what was aiming for? Brother mentioned about all the service opportunities that have been involved in my life, and it's really a blessing. Yesterday, one of the speakers was talking about the importance of gratitude. I never used to think of that consciously. When I was younger, you can say I was a pretty selfish kid when I was young. But over time, I could see my father. I can talk about my father actually did, and not, I think important for us to be so grateful. We always talk about being grateful for our parents, for our family. I'm so grateful for everyone in my life, my five brothers and sisters, and the community at large. Each one has so much to learn. When I see someone who is not doing the right thing or saying the right thing, I'm also grateful for them. The way I look at that is that they're teaching me of what not to do in my life. I think it's important for us to see something, and you have to accept it. I think there's always going to change ourselves. We can change by being ourselves, and hopefully that will come off, and that will definitely inspire and change others. But there's also something to learn from us, and not get into this egoistic thing that I'm actually a bad person or I'm doing something better than the other person. Rather think, there's something that person is doing, then you work really hard so that I don't actually fall into that trap. So I'm always grateful when I see people who are not doing, at least to me, now the right path for me to follow. But I'm still very open to them, but I do learn from them actually. So it's been really a wonderful blessing. So I really want to offer my gratitude to Swami and to everyone in this room as well. Swami says no joy can equal the joy of serving others. I asked Swami once, Swami asked me, so he was an interview, he was going to all of us, like the actually doctors and volunteers. Was really, I won't have time to talk about how we came to that interview room. I have time to talk about it. But once we were in the interview room, Swami literally was going to each person and asking, what do you want? What do you want? So I knew my turn was coming because I was coming more towards somewhere in the middle, I think. And so some were just like nervous. There was one brother who couldn't speak, and Swami moved on to the next person. One brother asked for a ring, Swami gave him a ring. And so I knew exactly what I wanted to ask Swami, but when I saw that ring, the mind plays the Maya again, right? He said, maybe I should ask for a ring. That is something I want as well. And I knew, at least I thought Swami would give it to me. But immediately my senses changed. I said, no, I'm going to stick to my original question. So Swami, of course, he said, what do you want? And I said, I just want to serve you for the rest kind of a loaded answer, and the Swami said, why? And I said, and he Swami, I said, makes me very happy. He said it's actually not happiness. He said, no, happiness is external. You would go happy for everything. He said, what you're experiencing is joy. Joy comes from within. So it's such a beautiful, whenever I see the word joy, I always think about, what Swami told me. So I told you, I'm talking about my own father, and my father passed away when I was very young. But the reason I'm talking about my own father is because he was always amazing man. He used to always give there, and during my selfish youth, I used to get very angry, and he used to give things that I thought were mine. And nowadays, I find myself doing the same thing. But there's such an impact in our lives. Sometimes we like to, of course, certain things we like to get away from, run away from our lives. But there are the good things. You can't run away. They will stick with you. And that's definitely my own father. And ever since he passed away, basically, Swami has become my only life. I always refer to Swami. Of course, I know he's God. I always refer to my father. I always say father. I don't say father. To me, that's the relationship I have. Even when when we have the interview, of course, when you have an interview or when you listen to people having amazing leaders, you always think about it. And to me, it was a very strange, when I walked into that interview, I walked in thinking that it was God. When I was walking out of the interview, I thought to myself, nothing really changed actually. It wasn't as if I was more elated. He was still God to me. It was the same beautiful feeling and no different. And so I always think about that because that is very important to me, not to kind of sway our egos or minds so much by what we see, but have that constant feeling of that beauty of that is to me that is God. As I mentioned, when we give, we receive so much, and I want to give some examples later on. I love this quote of the best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in the service of others, and it's always been such a strong, it's a yearning to do, which I think gets us out to help our own families, our communities, and wherever we go. And part of it translates to, following your own heart. And I think one is following your heart and having that passion from within. And, we need to work hard. We need to work to our own heart's content. And I think that's when we start seeing things happen. This was several years ago. This was, and I've been very active. I've been involved in an organization level and administrative level. But this was the first time I was more involved, and this was the first international conference. This was in Prashanti, Nevaya. And I just went there as an attendee. I had no role, official role in that meeting. When I went there, I saw all these brothers and sisters working, doing all this volunteer work. I'm like, I need to get in. Like another Bob does all the time. He doesn't have, he just, he's there, he's present. That's the beauty of it. I think sometimes we kind of stand back or we hesitate to ask, can I be part of it? I think you need to have that confidence and don't worry about what the answer is. Someone says no, take it because they probably will say no because they're not getting extra help. We don't know that. Don't make any assumption. So I go to this office, doing all the great stuff. I say, can I just do something? Because I don't like sitting alone. So he said, oh, of course, I can help with the registration and all that. And as things went on, I always say people watch us. People watch us to see what we're doing. Of course, that's not the reason what we do. But when people watch us, they can get something out of it. And to me, you gotta have the confidence that we are able to give something to others as much as we are, can receive from others as well. We always have to kind of keep it one egoistic way, but we are able to help others that are in our lives. People watch when they see something loving or helpful, they're like, I want to do that as well. So the next thing is I'm like in the front line, and because of the fact of time, and all the doctors, at least from the international level, we're all wearing a suit. It was so hot. It was in August in the Koma hall. We were literally drenching in sweat. And Swami comes. But before Swami came, actually, everything right. So we were all sitting on the floor. And Swami said to us, saying, how can you make doctors sit on the floor in all the suits? Believe it or not, within, I don't know, 5-10 minutes, there was like 1,000 chairs in the full hall and the doctors could sit. This is Swami's love. He sees us struggling and we have to sit for hours in our suit. And the next thing you know, we're all going to sit, and then this Swami to inaugurate the program, such as the beauty of Swami's passion. And the conference went on, and at the end, they selected 9 people to receive a plaque from Swami. And I was chosen as one of them. And I say that again, not in an egoistic fashion, but to show that when we follow us and do it, the people recognize, Swami recognized that love, that service in us. So here I am, just going as an attendee, and now receiving, that beautiful plaque from Swami. So I think that's Swami's love for us. So again, don't do it for others, just do things for ourselves. And actually, during the interview, one of the people asked, is it not selfish to think about yourself in a spiritual fashion? I want something good for myself. And Swami said, no, if you're doing something to better yourself as a human being, that is not selfish. And I think that's important for us to keep in mind. Sometimes we think, I want to do something good, but am I going to be perceived as being selfish? Gotta step back and think about what is the goal? Is it for my betterment in life, or is it betterment for others? We're not always talking about it's so important to help others as well. Or is it betterment of another goal which has no impact on spiritual? So I always like to comment on young adults. To me, young adults are the absolute essence of what we need to be and what we need to become at every stage in our lives. I think we need to look at them from where they are. We need to look at their purity in their hearts and what exactly are they thinking, not what we are thinking for them, but what exactly are they thinking for themselves and for the community. I always think that when they want something, they actually don't want it for themselves. They actually want it for their brothers and sisters. That is the biggest difference, I think, a lot of times, when young adults say something, I want this. For them, is their brothers and sisters. I'm always very, very conscious about it when young adults want something and really keep that in mind. The reason. So this was the first time, I think I might have been, by the current criteria, the property was really young adults, I think at that time. But it doesn't take much for you to move on from the young adult to an uncle. And once you're an uncle, you're an uncle forever. And sometimes people ask me, are you a grandpa yet? I'm like, no. And, I said, definitely I don't want to get to that stage yet. But I could once I get to that, I would love it. I love every day of my life. So, uh, so at that time, of course, when a lot was going on in this city, this huge hurricane, but sometimes things take time, to move ahead. And young adults, when young people, as restless as they can be, they decided, okay, we're just going to go ahead, moving on. We're going to start this project on the side of service, adoration, illumination, and they mobilize other young adults across the country. Of course, when you're young, you need an adult chaperone sometimes. And me being a doctor, they thought, definitely there's room for medical help, so there's an audience who can help us. And of course, I felt tremendous last. Having an opportunity to do something, even being a middle person, I always stated, being a middle person, Swami is always, of course, it's helping all of us, but there are times he's helping another person. He's using us as a middle person to get that person that help. I always think being that as a middle person is one of the greatest blessings we have. We need to recognize them all the time and not think about, hey, no one has to do something. What is my role? How I connect to that person? The in-between stuff, even if it's the behind the scenes, the very fact that there was an opportunity created to you by Swami to help another, even if it's behind closed doors. I think of it as the greatest blessings we all have on a daily basis. So, of course, it's an amazing project that can mobilize everyone to go down south as part of that. And this is the beauty of it. So, these are miracles. When miracles happen, I'm not talking about Swami making stuff. I'm talking about miracles in our lives. And sometimes people are always ask, is that by chance alone? Nothing is by chance when it comes to Swami. So the way the US works is that when we, at the times of disaster, you can actually go and practice in another state. Even you don't have a liability insurance, but we don't have a liability insurance. But you do need license. Normally, license takes several months, but during disaster relief, it's much shorter. So I called the Mississippi medical team, the office, and I said, I have decided on a Wednesday that I was leaving Friday. I booked my ticket. I always do this. I always stay safe. It has worked out so far. I booked my ticket and then asked for permission to go. I always find that very helpful, because Swami is already helping you when you book the tickets. So a lot of times when I meet people saying, I want to get permission first before I book on my class. Book first. There's your account to book a ticket. Then get the permission. Always. So I always book my ticket. I was determined to go that Friday. So I called this lady and I said, I need my license. Of course, doctor, you get your license on Monday. I'm like, no, I can get it Friday. I'm leaving Friday. She said, of course, you'll get it on next Monday. And then she said, why don't you find school enrollments? So I tried the thing, no idea what was going on, right? And literally within hours, she called my office and speaking of Conjeevaram. She said, look at your fax machine. And there was my temporary license within that hour. This is the beauty of that. But I think, of course, we don't know what's going to happen. But I think we need to kind of, that's part of, in a way, of people asking to surrender and having a faith, but not worrying about the outcome. If it doesn't happen, probably there's a good reason why. So here I want to, in the medical context, one of these towns across the state, this parking lots, and the day I went, I was the only doctor in that camp. So just imagine, all these patients are coming in, there were nurses, medical students, training, but they cannot do any work without a license. So me being there was part of that whole mission. I didn't know that until I actually went there. The minute that I saw me, "Oh, God's blessing because you were there, none of the patients were being served." So I think we have to step back and think about our roles in life. And you don't have to use, and we have heard others say that one is Swami himself so many times. You don't have to use the name, just do your work. And the church is the general adopted and later within the service in the community from that. He said, he was so careful, all of us were crying when he said that at the end. He said, I don't know who you are and where you came from, but I do know for sure that the Lord has sent you. His Lord, that He was in God. We have been praying to our Lord to come to our aid, and you have brought Jesus to us today. And that's the beauty of one's God. When it's always I'm going to take you on a few other journeys. Okay, all these examples are not to tell you I did something, I got something out of it, whether it's material or that. But just to say that there's always lessons to be learned for us in every part of our journey. I think it humbles us, it teaches us a lot of things. Just need to look around to listen to what we see. The Satyasai Haiti project was amazing because I've been involved in a lot of disaster relief prior to that. But what this actually showed me, this particular project showed me was as a community of people, not just within the Thai community, but we, and I strongly always say, spread your wings. And what that means at least means that you gotta spread your wings into the community and work with people as well, get things done. At the end of the day, what is the goal? The goal is not to get something. The goal is to help someone in the community. That's the goal. If you have that goal, you gotta have sometimes that you have to work with something, especially to take a country where you have really no context. Of course, there's Thai center there. They don't have people. So we have to work with so many people. So bringing together, and this is where I don't know how many people realize this was the first time for 1 full year we had medical service every week for the entire year. Most companies, most organizations, most organizations American Red Cross and other places, other organizations, they come and go after a few months. But we were there beyond the year that food sale project really went on for several years actually, and building of houses. So I think we have to step back when we think about the organization. There is a role for all of us in the organization from a perspective of we have to think about, hey, I can achieve a lot. Yeah, I can achieve a lot as an individual. I can achieve a lot, bit more like a family, or even more as a side family, and a lot as a community at large. And how do we do that as a community at large? And through the organization kind of gives us those opportunities to work with other organizations. I think it was absolute example, mentioned the Thai World Foundation that you heard about yesterday. We also work with United Nations Directly International, which is uh, an entity in the US. They donate things during disaster relief, and they gave us millions of dollars of supplies and medicine just to the SSIO to actually help our brothers and sisters in Haiti. So taking advantage of that through that love that we have, without changing our guidelines. That's very important to keep in mind when we do anything under Swami's name. The guidelines that he set forth should not change. I'm not talking about a different guideline. It shouldn't be altered even by a word. That's very, very important and keep that in mind when we think about guidelines working in the organization. That does not mean we as individuals or as a family or small team of people, we can do things without those guidelines. That's completely different. But once you use the word Swami, I'm working because I have a regard for the community, very easy for us to say, I'm part of that Sssio, because sometimes when you use a name of the organization, people actually listen to it and they go, oh, let's talk about this. What do you want about? So we take advantage of the name of the organization, but we got to make sure that the guidelines are exactly. We use the name, we got to stick to the guidelines. There is no thoughts about it. We have that's very, very important for each one of us at an individual level. And the US name was really helpful. I didn't realize it was beyond there that there's a huge US presence including the United and nation. So one of the this was really another miracle. First day we met, so we went a scout team of 9 people, mostly doctors, a couple of volunteers. So we actually reached those days we couldn't fly into Haiti, we could only fly into Dominican Republic and take a bus across, which was 6 hours without stops, about 8-10 hours long. So we reached very late one evening. We have to get out the bus around 3 a.m. So we got up early to get to the US consulate to get into this bus, which is actually part of the USA, and they take us across. So being the US citizen, you go to the consulate, you have the advantage of bypassing the visa and everything in Haiti, so you can get you. So when we go to the US consulate, the driver was there. The actual guy who screens and gets us into the bus did not come. Whole hour goes by, the driver is getting very impatient because he has to drive back. So he called the guy finally around 4 o'clock. Said, hey, bro, where are you? And the guy said, today's not my day, I'm sleeping. Just put them into the bus. So the guy just put them into the bus, and there was 2 other random people in the bus. This was a 16-seater bus, 9 of us from the Sssio, and 2 other random guys. So we checking on, and we get to the border of out town actually, and this huge security guards stops the bus. With a bunch of security guards get into the bus, and he said, "Who's your team leader?" I was just part of the team. I was not the leader actually. To me, it was like Brother Vedas around, I always remember he's there, he's my leader. Someday he's my leader, and I was saying his name. But to my surprise, the entire 8 of others, they pointed their finger towards me. So I kind of nervously, go to this guy. And this is where sometimes, like, if you don't know, sometimes you gotta take advantage of fear into confidence. So the guy asked, who actually gave you permission to get on this bus? And I could not remember, think of it, any of the brothers who got me into that bus from the sidewalk and Dominican from the sidewalk. The only brother's name I remember was one of the brothers who kind of picked us up, Jose, I said, oh, it's Jose, give us permission. And he kind of looks at me and says, oh, okay, go ahead. So we get into the bus, no other questions asked. And we get to Haiti. So we are very confident here for the fourth place. So before we do anything, let's go to the US consulate and reserve our seats back when we go back. So we go to the US consulate and we say, hey, you're part of the SSO, permission to get to everyone, permission to go back. And the guy pulls us to the side and he says, now look, he actually went inside to figure something out. He says, now look, I have no idea who the heck you are. So this never happened today. Don't talk about it. You ain't coming back in this class. So to me, it was absolute Swami's miracle, right? Because our nation was never part of that list. So Swami creates this smile, this driver, the guy who has the list, not coming in. The guy telling the driver, I'm not coming in, you just put them into the bus and go. Here we are, reached Haiti. And the guy on the other side said, your names were not in the bus. The only names that I have is people who are in the bus. How did you not come into this bus? Don't even tell me about it. End of the story. So that's the beauty of Swami's Leela. Another important thing, and this is again having not an egoistic way, how what we do in our lives reflects sometimes the Lord Himself. I think we should never underestimate what we do in our lives, how it has an impact, how others perceive us. Absolutely, when someone says, I see God in you, for the beautiful, and so someone says, something more, you're God friend, you're a miracle person, I always smile, but never let that get into your head because you have to stay humble when you get praised. And definitely believe when someone yells at you, you gotta be very humble as well. I probably like that. And I know someone is yelling at me, especially now doctor, when patients get angry for all sorts of things, I just say, I just compliment myself. That, yeah, and when you say yeah, they suddenly soften. And I think because they just want to be listened to. This was a beautiful discussion story about, people seeing the divine in us, just though they're just being a human action. So, we were working in the AD with two, I know my tongue is zooming, two uh, uh, churches where we were looking at all some of these are attached to the orphanage. So one of the weeks I stayed back actually for longer. So the second Sunday, the two doctors who were part of the team asked me to come in for the church sermon that morning. I said, absolutely, I'd love to come to the sermon. I don't know why, I always, from a young age, I always used to go to churches from a young age. I used to love going to churches. So when this brother asked me, why come to the sermon? Of course. So I go to the sermon, and hundreds of people there in the church, and they had all the dignitaries, other priests from other churches in the area. All the priests were getting taught. And at the end, the main priest said, today we have a guest speaker for the sermon. And I feel around and said, I think everyone actually taught. And I wonder who's the guest who's actually giving the sermon. And he says, Dr. Hari is going to give us the sermon. And I'm like, I just froze. I'm like, okay, I'm not a Christian by birth. I've never been in a church listening to a sermon and walking in our churches. I've never given a sermon. And here I'm thinking, so here I'm in front of everyone, all these groups of people giving the sermon. And it was like this rolling machine in my mind, trying to remember every Swami's quote. I was telling everyone, all sermon, even in the times of hardship, you gotta help each other, you gotta help your brothers and sisters. And like every 5-10 minutes, all the people are getting up from the chairs and saying, hallelujah. So it was an amazing. The Swami was that experience taught me a huge lesson. He taught me the lesson that when we show love, speaks to the divine in us. And I think we should never underestimate the impact. That's nothing to do with the impact of love that Swami talks so much about. It's really a very common experience to me speaking at church. I've been to Kazakhstan, I've been to so many parts of the world, using something as an example of reflection of Islamic love. Now I have to think about everyone again, a bit of the miracles as well. Kazakhstan is another very interesting story. I booked the tickets, but Kazakhstan is very strict with visa. You can't mess with it. So if they said 5 days, I just booked it in a previous week. So I applied for a visa on the weekend, previous Friday. They said, no, they said 5 days to get the visa. Not 5 days because I was traveling the next Saturday. 5 days. And then I called it out on Monday or Tuesday. No one was answering the phone. I got nervous and I asked them so many things. Hey, I'm here. I need my visa. I love messages. And then I realized it's not 5 weekdays, but Wednesday is only for Kazakh people. So they don't come Wednesday for non-class people. So Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, next Monday. So the earliest I can get the visa was the Monday. So I called up Upandya. I was leading that team. I said, Upandya, this was Tuesday night. I said, Dr. Upandya, no, Wednesday morning. I said, Dr. Upandya, I don't think I can come because it doesn't look like I'm going to get visa till Monday. He said, how are you coming? I said, how confident are you? He said, I had a dream last night. He said, in the dream, he was not the dream, he was puja. He was doing prayer. He had a vision. He said, in the vision, and this was previous before I was talking. In the vision, I saw the camp. In the camp, I saw you. And he said, you aren't coming. So that was Wednesday morning. And Wednesday afternoon, I get this series of phone calls from the Kazakh embassy. I think there's a whole guy, they like email messages and faxes and phone messages. They're like, this guy's crazy. So they wanted to reach this crazy guy. The guy said, I'm crazy, but he sent us so many messages. I said, no, I need the visa by Friday because I'm leaving. He said, it's Monday. I said, oh no, I need it by Friday. He said, this is what I'll do. If you have a friend in New York, then this is really important. I said, of course I have a friend in New York. I was thinking of my mom. I said, tell your friend to come to the US embassy tomorrow. And so I called Brother Bob and I said, Brother Bob, I beg you, please go to the embassy tomorrow. Brother Bob goes to the embassy and I was waiting to get the visa. And Brother Bob overrided it. So it was really good. And when we went there, there's so much love. Dr. Upadhyay told me, if you haven't experienced self-love love, go to Russia and Kazakhstan. I mean, these devotees are just beyond amazing. They travel hours and hours and more than a day, some of them, but they're all dressed up just to welcome the people from US and UK. I always say, when you go from the US, people always think that you need more luxury. People don't expect that. Even though I'm not thinking about it, but people think that you're thinking that you need luxury. So that is touching it's just amazing. This is a beautiful example. Seeing our patient who started with my translator. He was blessed by Swami. So he was my translator, and this lady, she came, seeing all the GI patients, and she went on and on and on and on. And she had a minor GI complaint, but she really wanted to talk about her life and depression. And I think it's very important, when people come to you, we need to be patient. There could be 100 other things happening or about to happen. And this is where I think for us to be the practice, and I've been trying to do more and more of this. And I see someone, give them the 100% attention, being mindful that that is the only person in front of you. Now, what does that mean? That means things will go behind in your schedule. You might get home late or whatever that is. That's okay. But if you made a commitment to help somebody, you gotta give them that time. So here I'm just listening, very patiently and finally she was so happy. So I have nothing much to offer. I just listen. A lot of times listening is the cure. And she gets up and this is what she said in Russian. She looks at both of eyes and we were just hearing both of us. She said, I see love in your heart and peace in your eyes. It's such a beautiful short sentence. That is the reflection of Swami's love. And I think anytime someone praises us and sees that, I always think it's Swami working through us. I'll never for a moment think about this is me. I have a short video to show. Hope I don't run into out there. I'll speak as I'm talking about videos. So this was, I had this amazing opportunity to set up the endoscopy in Kazandi area. And so I went there, pretext to it. I have moved, I actually left University of Michigan, but I stayed back as an adjunct faculty because my boss said, you'll come back. So he said, don't resign, just go as an adjunct faculty. So I did that. I went to treatment clinic. And after 6 months, I was happy there. But that was around the time this was about to open actually. And before that, we were thinking about it, and Swami actually said, "Yeah, go ahead." And like we got a team of 9 physicians. Swami approved each one of them actually. So we had that Swami's blessing, and he also gave a date of the inauguration. So everything was in place. Right? So here I think going back to my boss, and I was telling him, 2 things. One, I want to come back. He was very happy about this. And I said, well, by the way, I need to go back. I need to go to India for up to 6 months. Now, my plan was, if I ask for 6 months, maybe a little less, but I still have enough time. If I ask for 1 month, well, it might give me 2 weeks. So that was my strategy. And this is what he said, was me and him in the room, Chinese gentleman, and he said, you are going down to see Satyasai Rama. I've never ever talked to him about Satyasai Rama. About 2 years before, I got this incredible honor award for service from the University of Michigan. And in that, I mentioned the Satyasai organization in Sai Rama. Gave them to him. That was 2 years ago. I don't think he remembered. But what made him suddenly remember that and ask me that question? I knew in that room Swami was there, and how could it be otherwise for him to actually benefit from me? And I was like, I have nothing to do there moving forward. So time goes on, I go there, and I go there with the intention of going to take 3 months. But I took 3 months, I'm a liver specialist, I'm very, very sick patient. I can't give my word to someone. I'm going to work in the night and work during the day into the hospital. But I needed a Wi-Fi, not Wi-Fi. So I go there, I'm thinking about that, how am I going to get Wi-Fi? So the day I landed, I get up in the morning and set my computer. And because like within the ashram, now that old and all that, those days there was no automatic Wi-Fi. And suddenly I see this Wi-Fi signal, says Gopala Krishna, something Krishna actually. Where did this come from? And because for us, we have the firewall in the university, it's a 2-point system. So I get it, starts working. For that entire next week, the Wi-Fi was working every single room of the night. That was in so much joy. And after that, it stopped working one day. I'm like, okay, that's disappointing, but that's one is that morning I go to the hospital and I see one of the students running towards me and says, Dr. Harrison, in your office, the Wi-Fi is working from today, you can start using it from today. So the timing was absolutely perfect. So the day of the inauguration comes, Swami had given the date, but we had no idea where we were actually going to come. And I think this is where there's so much to prepare for everybody accepting everything now. So all the students were there to sing Lutheran, and the only thing in my mind was, I wish we sang some budgets, but everything happened so fast, nothing happened, and blah blah blah. Okay, send the words and Swami and don't expect to see Swami the rest of the day. I think this is where it taught me so many lessons. I don't have time to talk about an incredible miracle that happened. Life teaches you. You always listen to others. Of course, it's very important to listen, respect others. But at the end of the day, the connection is between me and Swami and not someone else. Because a lot of times I used to feel, my mother used to have conversations with Swami. Sometimes I used to feel that, she could have a conduit, and Swami once told her, it's like, your son is very stubborn. You can't use others to get things done. Of course, we always do that. We tell Swami this and that does happen. But we have to step back and say, what is our true connection? Our true connection is not about. So, and when this quote unquote disappointing news came, I'm like, well, that's okay, but we should not start having the budgets. No, we need to have a budget. It doesn't come because we have a patient ready. The patient, Swami said, you got to stop that. We can't wait for him, right, to start. We can't change the law eventually. And and so we have after that, as we just have few buttons, we have few buttons. You wouldn't believe the number of buttons. Literally, we start on the chair, we get a phone call, and we get a phone call right from straight from where we normally say, Swami is coming. So we call, other senior leaders. They're like, no, it's not coming. They didn't tell us. See, that's important. The proximity doesn't mean there's connection of, we have to keep that in mind. There's so much weight into this proximity of seeing others. We think that's a connection. It's a great lesson for all of us. That proximity didn't come out. They found out their wrong. And this is what happened. Okay. So I'm going to speak to that. So this is all coming arriving. And so you're already inside. I was thinking, be inside one of your mouths. I mean, we hopefully you can hear it. So here in the coming 6 months, let's be on the side, but I have this incredible opportunity to kind of take my phone to show you the news. And on the side of the patient visit, we needed a patient, but we haven't found the clinics yet. So the previous day, we decided to try the clinic and actually turns out I want a GI on place. And then your medication is going to them. And he's there, absolutely blessed, right? He's there. And here the song issue like one was insistent on the boy to turn it around and he like all the time. And then for a few seconds, he was just staring at his phone. To me, it felt like eternity. He was just looking at the whole instant. Just for a few seconds, but it felt like eternity actually. So here I heard from the US, John, that's another beautiful story. We wanted to show him how to work on that. So we didn't want to just film videos. I asked engineers to create this pipe for me. So it mimics a hole, a better hole. They put a jasmine pot, does like power on the road. And I wanted to show him, we practice 100 times. I go in with a snare, we cut it, hold the something, cut it, and the pot walks off. You can see it. So this is a power that we got. And here I'm explaining to Swami, that's the concept. Swami just telling everyone in the room, hey, this thing. Initially, there were 2 people, I thought it was 2 or 3 people. I don't know where did that 15 people came from. I was so nervous. And I keep watching and watching, and this thing would not cut. It would not cut. And here I am, so nervous and sweating. I'm really Swami, Swami, please make this cut. I'm just asking them, and finally, a minute later, it felt like eternity because I'm worried it doesn't come to me. So then finally, it comes and we kind of take it out, yeah, literally, me and John, both of us very felt like eternity. Even with watching the video, like, it feels long, and usually that takes the last that it would not last the fight. We kept trying and trying like that. It was really good nerve-wracking experience. Obviously, sometimes the fears that the Swami, the Lord is front of the right here. So finally it comes out, I'm showing him this huge butt. And he wanted to teach him a lesson. He wanted to say, you know, all powers are not that big out there. And he wanted everyone to know that small powers are usually small. However, I was just using that as an example. That is the beauty of science to show them, you know, that he's teaching a lesson as well because he's thinking he knows that people in the room may not be aware, they might not teach a policy so huge, you know, all the time. So we go on to the next. And here we are telling him this advanced procedure that we can do. As one was making jokes. You know, I speak Telugu, but speaking Telugu in front of Swami, I'm like, I get so nervous. Usually English comes out. And here I'm speaking in English. And then Mr. Chakravarti was behind me. He's like prodding me in the back. See someone in the back. Like, who's disturbing me when I'm talking to Swami? He was trying to tell me, speak in Telugu. I'm like, okay, I was showing him everything. So I say a few words to Telugu, but I went back to my that I hearing was one was asking these questions about alcohol. It was really funny. The beautiful moments that you have is then every second, I can tell you, when these things happen. But again, like I say, again, always put everything in perspective and really ask ourselves, what is it about? How things. And here I'm trying to talk in how they remove storms, from the wild with just a machine and without actually requiring surgery. And Swami was asking questions about. I think he's asking questions not that he doesn't know, he's asking questions he wants everyone to be stimulated and that. So it was really and then we went back and we showed him the recovery room, which has basic picture. He was so happy when he did that. You know, there were all these brochures made in Telugu and English. He picked up all of them and he said, "I'm very happy, very happy." And so I can show you something that we had. I was telling Swami here. I was telling Swami, this is where I really wanted to acknowledge the gratitude, but also acknowledge that it was all unity. It was really a culmination of people working towards the same goal. Because I didn't know if anyone was super special in hospital at that time. I had no idea. But everyone pitched to help me. Why did they do that? They didn't do it to me, of course, they were being very malicious to me. And they were helping me as well. But they saw the ultimate goal. What is the ultimate goal? Is they helping for mothers and sisters. And I think that's how we need to look at things. Five or not, don't think if I was not doing right, the guy, do I get along with him? What is the outcome for? Can I do it? I can do it. Let's just do it. And nothing else. So here it is. I was showing him all his best work. He was really fascinated. And then it turned out when he went back, that he was a student. And he was, minute by minute, he was giving them an entire story of what's happening in the GI university. All the students came back to him. And then he came back and he went to, there was an orthopedics conference going on at the same time. He actually did that and picked us up, he tested and he left he was coming back. Here we are showing him, it's so funny. One is showing the actual video of anatomy and Swami was asking how long will it hold, and we had prepped for it before. And Charlie, Mrs. Charlie, she read somewhere, she googled it, well, quickly, she had a t-shirt of that, and that's where you asked a question. And she said 2 feet Swami, and he said no, it's not 2 feet, it's 3 to 4 feet. He was absolutely correct. Like he's always about 18 hours when you ask a question. Yeah, you can tell him something. Same thing about the used to do. We used to ask the numbers and he corrects you. You have to go back and look at the numbers at the exactly the number that we used to give. So nothing goes by him. And I think these are not chances, right? I mean, these are about, once he's done, he actually had an exhibition. He actually did the whole thing for sure. Made a lot of jokes, but it was really funny. And sometimes like Brother Phil was talking about in that moment when you see Swami speak, you're supposed to get permission, but the mind plays games or like, get permission, you don't know what's going to be the asana, by this time speak might move away. So when I was literally on the floor next to him, I'm like, I'm not asking. And because there was so much thing going down, just touching speak, he yells at me, I'll take the yell. So it was really a beautiful event. We was out there. And so I was there for like 6 months. And what was beautiful was I actually throughout the 3 months I have gone to the physical darshan maybe 2 or 3 times. And the reason for that was I still had to do my university work in the evenings. Once I got done with my philosophy work after the next several hours, I have to take advantage of the Wi-Fi around to all the nursing messages, patient messages. By this time, it used to, I knew when the marketing actually used to close. I used to be just about 15 minutes prior to getting the time for the door closed. That meant most of the time I used to miss stuff. So, but that was okay. During those 3 months, people were just giving me stuff. People were giving me Muni Nagas and Swami gave that. People, there was this lady, who used to be Swami in the 60s and 70s, that I used to talk about all the time, reminding them to go because but they just used to leave their outlets and comment. She had collected over the years this album of photos, deep necklaces from the page sand that she walked on. And she said, these are all for you, I don't need them anymore. So I still have them with me. And it often gave me walk on someone's hair, because I think they see the love of the work that you're doing, and they want to show that work back. It's such a beautiful, beautiful experience. And then again, blessed to be part of Swami Center so many times. And Brother Baba and Sister Usha were really the pillars of these camps. Yes, the architect going to but they're behind the scenes so much. And Swami is always told us the seeing in everyone. We used to be conscious of that when we used to. You never know who that next patient that gives the person coming to you is a Swami. I don't know whether you notice this. After the playground spoke, I saw these two butterflies going towards Swami. One stop in front of Swami, and the school started, that butterfly was there the entire morning session, not a movement. So I think that's such a beautiful thing. The butterfly is much more. So this sometimes the proximity is the reports and all that. I used to be very but it was fine. But Swami once told the doctors that the opportunity to serve is by Father must come to you. This is such a profound statement. The lady doctors one day asked, the lady doctors and the lady volunteers, Swami is going to talk to them every day and give a message to them. That for the mind face voice, he never came. And but so the ladies, the patients went out, and how about the men's Swami? And Swami said, why do you worry about the men? I said, that was the next day he was interview. But he also said, once opportunity to serve, that is important. Anytime we have any opportunity, don't quantify it just because you have again, not the picture or the tree, whatever out there. So this is the birthday before Swami the body house. We did not understand the impact of that day. So that morning, usually when we have prayers in the morning, invariably the first day, one day we go from Swami's chair, do like this into the on his feedback. It was just amazing. So every day something happened. And the last day we used to get the beginning of the ready is that day at morning so you can use come together. That morning he comes with beauty patterns from Swami. He wants all of you to be there this afternoon. So that afternoon we were all sitting. It turns out that was the last day of the music choir. They couldn't perform the previous days on the next day. And so Bhajan started, Swami comes. He went to each and every one of us once he hands over the beauty package to us in person. And he went out, we thought he was done. He comes back and he does that again. He was really acknowledging the work of the service. And then he leaves. The music part forgot about all that. So that was an impactful thing. Of course, we were very happy about that. But we didn't understand that impact in the system while we have to later. And I think we see every opportunity to take that opportunity. A lot of times people say, I'll do it at some point. Of course, if you're not able to do it, don't feel bad about it. But if you can, you have to set up priorities. So this is part of the community moving forward. When I think of humility, I always think being humble is probably one of the most important aspects of our spiritual transformation. Humility is what I was saying is. That is so important when we are humble, when people recognize it. And when I think of humility, I speak on the other side. One day during, I think this was during Krishnastami time, they are guiding our prophet and all the, so they're bringing all the other animals as well. And then I to come, but one of the sheikhs from the Middle East comes. The Swami is giving that time for the guest. So he takes a sheikh and stays in the lecturing room and 10, 15 minutes goes on. And suddenly I can see, she's very, very restless. And she kind of walks in, there's an open space. And she just starts peeing. And she just put it over laughing. She starts peeing and peeing and peeing, out there. So the amount of people stuck there. To me, it was not that she was peeing, when you think of pee or anything happening, but to me, the person who was less than most was the seva that was sitting there. Here they have an opportunity to serve, pee, the so he was doing it as a physician. Swami comes in, so he had to sit right there and still writing on Swami. So this is a beautiful example of we think of the pros of whatever we have to do some survey. And I had this incredible experience where I had to literally I was graduate school and all that taking care of him and the hospital. I could not care less. Today he was like one. So who cares, right? It's something about when we serve, all these nothing, always not they're all materialistic and devotees. And he comes from inside that comes straight to Swami. This is a devotion. This is right in front of Swami's feet. And literally it's like it's part of us. How blessed is that? That is the type of spiritual devotion we need to have nowadays. That sincerity. I want to end with this quote. So this actually, I was trying to show this quote here, not this quote here, but I wanted to tell him to thank him for everything because he brought all these people that I know together and he brought people together to make it happen that day. And it said, together, all together, the knowledge we have gained, we shall brighten and brighten to enlighten all. Together, all together, we shall share our friends. The fortune we have earned, the vision and spirit. Together, all together, we can attain peace. Till we raise, praise, we wonderful peace. Together, all together, we shall be content with Bhagavan. Oh. We we shall together thing. So this is the beauty of the unity. I think this is how we need to work together. And whether we work together, like I said, within our own homes, as our own family, as a side family in the center, as a family in the community. When we go out into the community, it is a broader aspect of the side family. But there is side in everyone. It's not like as the side of helping the non-side. I think we use this word non-side. I never use that word non-side. Or I never think about side word or non-side word. I never use that word conscious. And the reason for that is because it's almost focus all the time. Everything we do is strong is good. Of course, it's more professional. It's a professional word. Because a lot of times people say, well, I'm very busy with my non-side work. I don't have time for side work or something, That's side work too. Just say you're busy. People realize you don't have to use the words. That discrimination doesn't get us anything. That doesn't raise sympathy in others. It's just work, just size work. It's just can't do it. I'm so tired. Because all of us have days which are very tired. And I think when someone says that, we have to understand as well. Sometimes when I quantum theology, God, how can we help? I don't know. I'm not ready for that. There's nothing honestly in mind. We never want to make an assumption based on what, if I have time, of course I'm going to be able to help somebody. If I call somebody, if they don't have time, the assumption is that they're free and they can't help. You don't know that. I always think when someone yells at me or not that people yell at me, I'm very calm. So it's very hard for people to yell at me actually, even if they want to. But even if they do that, there must be a reason, right? They've gone through something. I don't know. How would I react, when someone breaks up or does bad things, at least from my perspective? I still want to love them first, then talk about what their actions are. You can take an action, but never make them first to the wrong again. So I don't know what this is. I always tell myself to tell the people I work with as well, someone complains about patient like me. I have no idea how I would react if I was in that situation. I like to say how they react in a certain way. I don't know that. If I was put in that extreme, because people react in extreme position. And if you are not put in that extreme position, you don't know how to react. So who are we to judge? So that's very important. But it's easy to just walk into that room or walk into that first person and say, hey, Swami, that's a beautiful thing about everything is very calm. I was telling someone yesterday, I studied recently. My nurse warned me that person is a young patient, very sad. That's not like you, like how the whole thing happened and all that. I said, okay. I walked in, I'm very chill, and nothing has happened. I'm talking to them, and nothing has happened. Just listening and listening to something. He started complaining about me first. They again, when you don't show reaction, anger or upset, there's something that I'm like, I smile when so I'm smiling at him, and slowly he softens down, then he takes on the other nerves, and then I'm done with him, before I go leave, and I just goes and big hug. He hugs me back. He's a white person in shock. He never hugs anybody. No, he's the first one that sees you. And that is the power of love. I think we have that. We need to take advantage of it. I always say take advantage of what we have. I always take advantage of people that can give us. Never be bad take advantage of the goodness. Absolutely fine. You did something because you wanted to give, not for the result. They didn't like it or they didn't thank you. Don't care. I did it because I wanted to give that love. I'm happy. If they cheated me, That's their time. I'm still happy. So I think that's very, very important. I know I've spent a little time. Really, that was incredible honor to you all and share with you.